everybody, and welcome to the Keanu Backpack Sew Along. I wanted to show you these two backpacks I made and give you a few tips for cutting them out. So this one has different options than this one, and I'll go over all of them with you. The first one is this laptop zipper pocket here, and it's padded on both sides, so it's great to protect your device, your iPad, your laptop, anything in here, and it goes all the way down. The second option is these side pockets. These aren't written in the pattern, but I will be showing you how to do them. And there's one on each side. It's big enough to fit this water bottle and any other things you need to access quickly. See here? Okay. Another option is this webbing on the back. This is how it's written in the pattern with the webbing all the way down. But sometimes I wanted to show off my fabric more. So I skipped the webbing all the way down and just did it on the back a little bit. I'll show you how to do that hack also. So that's a decision you'll need to make about how long to make your webbing. This does actually give it more structure, I feel like, when I've put it on. So if you'll have heavy books in here or a bunch of things, then you'll want to make sure to use the webbing here just for that extra support. Okay, so a few time-saving tips that I have for you is in the pattern, there is a fabric layout guide. So you can lay out your fabric, lay out your pattern pieces, and cut them according to this, and that will help save time and hopefully some fabric too. If you're not doing the laptop pocket in the back, there's another document in your files that you received when you purchased the pattern, and there's a box that will show you what you don't need to cut, so you don't cut something that you didn't actually need. And lastly, in the Uh-Oh Creations Facebook group, there's a free file that you can download that has these little tabs. You can cut these out and put them on your fabric when you've cut them. That way you make sure you've cut everything and you don't accidentally forget something. Okay, so a couple things I wanted to go over was how to save you some time when you're cutting. So you'll want to lay out your fabric on your ironing board and then lay your woven interfacing on top. Make sure your glue side, this is the glue side, make sure you lay that down, and then you can iron it on your whole yard, okay? And that will save you a whole bunch of time, so you'll do it on your whole yard, and then you can put your pattern pieces on, cut around them, and that saves you a bunch of time when you're trying to cut out your pattern pieces. You don't have to cut each thing and then iron it on. You're cutting them both at one time, saves you a ton of time. Okay, another tip is when you're cutting and you come across those pattern pieces that say to mirror them, the easiest way to do that is to fold over your fabric and then lay your pattern piece on top and cut around. Then you automatically have two mirrored pieces and you don't have to worry about that part. I always struggle with that. I'm probably not the only one. So if you lay it down with your pattern, with your fabric facing each other, it's automatically mirrored. You've cut two at once, saves you some time there too. Okay, now another thing you'll want to do is when you've cut all your pattern pieces out, when you fold them in half, you can make a little snip about 1/8 of an inch, no more than 1/8 of an inch. You can make an actual little snip with your scissors, and that will mark your middles, and you don't have to worry about your chalk erasing or your marker erasing. It's a really great way to keep your middles all lined up because you'll want them lined up really well throughout your final construction of your bag. Okay, so last time we did this, someone asked for help with actual cutting, which I'm happy to do. So I usually use a rotary cutter and a mat. You can use scissors, and you would trace out your pattern pieces, cut around them with scissors. I find it not to be so accurate for me, but you know, to each their own. And so I do it with this, and this isn't a real pattern piece, just so you know. I cut this out. So you'll lay down your pattern piece, and I use my rotary tool and even some pattern weights usually. Lay your pattern piece down and your pattern weight, and then you just cut around like so with your rotary blade. It's a good idea to pick up different sizes of these rotary blades. This one is a 28 millimeter. There's, I think there's a 60, a 45, there's an 18 really tiny one, and it's a good idea to use the one that will do the job. The bigger ones tend to, you can go faster with them, but they don't always make those little curves. So this piece has a curve in it, and so it's easier to do with the smaller blade. You'll just have to play with it and see what works for you. But that's how you cut with the rotary blade and the mat, and it's super easy and saves a lot of time over tracing and scissors, at least in my opinion. So today I'd like you to take the time to do the pattern piece cutting if you have time, the pattern pieces that you've printed out from the file, and you'll put those on your fabric and cut those all out. Tomorrow there's even more to cut, so there's a cut chart as well on your pattern. Make sure you don't miss those pieces, but we can divide it up. Today the pattern pieces, tomorrow the cut chart. Then you're not doing it all in one day. So I hope you're able to get some cutting done today. The cutting does take quite a bit of time, but then we're ready to rock and roll putting this together. I'm so excited everyone is here to join me, and I hope you have fun doing this with me. I know you can do it. Let's all make some awesome bags together. See you tomorrow.